Yo, what's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the United Battle Championship Season 4 playoffs. We're here. We had a first round bye, and so we just had to wait on our opponent. Chip, coach of the Bristol Bulu, faced off against Levine M.A., coach of the Boston Kommo-O. That being said, just recap on the season here. We finished 10-2, and we grabbed the number 1 seed. So we faced the lowest winning seed, and ends up the 6th seed wins against the 3 seed. So we played the 6th seed automatically, no matter the outcome of the other quarterfinals match. So here we are. As you see on screen, it's a bit weird. It is a 5v5. This is due to a recreation because of it's due to a recreation, and the Mon missing on his team is an Umbreon, and the Mon missing on my team is a Gyarados. So that being said, we'll just go over the teams real quick here. He could have brought his team consisted of Xurkitree, Mega Beedrill, Azelf, Mimikyu, Toxapex, Umbreon, Empoleon, Gliscor, Hawlucha, Delphox, and Torterra. Whereas I think his Z-move crystal users were Azelf, Mimikyu, and Delphox, if I'm not mistaken. And as always, our team, we went the whole entire season without trading or making any kind of transactions. Victini, Zapdos, Mamoswine, Mega Gardevoir, Shaman, Ditto, Cobalion, Scrafty, Gyarados, Swellow, and Golurk. Now, whereas Zapdos, Shamanos, and Gyarados are our Z Crystal users. So we bring a pretty cool squad this week. We bring a Zapdos, which is physically defensive, Volt Switch, Hidden Power, Ice, Roost, Defog. Basically just there to Volt Switch around, take hits, Roost up, and get rid of potential rocks. Next up, we have a very defensive Shaman with Energy Ball, Psychic, Protect, and Synthesis. I have the Psychic there for the Mega Beedrill in case he I guess it's hard to say. It's there for, like, if he wants to switch Beedrill hard in on my Shaman, and then I switch out to Zapdos, and then later in the game I have Shaman in, and I think he might want to switch Beedrill in again. I got the Psychic. It also hits Toxapex for super effective damage instead of neutral, like Energy Ball does. So there's that. And then I have the Protect and Synthesis, just so I can eat hits and, get my health back, and maybe wear him down with Protect in case well, I don't really have Protect or like Toxic or any, so I guess it's just there for my HP to get back up. I have leftovers. I thought about Rocky Helmet. Either or was actually pretty fine in this matchup. I just think Shaman and Zapdos made a really good core against this team. Next up is going to be a Mamoswine Expert Belt. Basically, I bring this thing because it really runs through his team, and I have I'm Adamant, Max Attack, Expert Belt, Thick Fat, Substitute, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard. I really didn't need another attack, maybe Superpower, but I figured Substitute would be pretty nice because he has things like Mimikyu, that if I'm behind a sub I can break his disguise and then proceed to try to hit him again. Empoleon and Gliscor I figured would be switching in and out. Potentially have a substitute up before a Hawlucha comes in, before a Delphox comes in. I just felt like Mamoswine forced a lot of switches, so I could be able to set up a sub sometime in the match. Next up is going to be Victini. Choice Scarf, Adamant, enough speed to outspeed the Xurkitree if it's choice scarfed. So I set it at 292 speed. Got the U-turn, the V-Create, the Zen Headbutt, and the Trick Room. Now Trick Room is here because if it's late game and I am choice scarf. Trick Room has negative priority, so I wouldn't reveal that I'm choice scarf just yet, unless I already have in the match. But yeah, I can U-turn out on a lot of things, and then V-Create just kind of nukes his team, and then Zen Headbutt, also nukes his team. I wouldn't say nuke, but it hits the Toxapex, so I really needed it. And then Trick Room, of course, like I mentioned, so I can set up the Trick Room maybe in the late game and make it to where Mamoswine or my next mon, Golurk, can put in a lot of work. Golurk has the Earthquake, the Shadow Punch, the Ice Punch, and the Stealth Rock, and the Cassib Berry, so like if he's packing Shadow Ball or something on one of his mons, perhaps Mimikyu can't knock me out with the Shadow Claw or Shadow Sneak. Same for Delphox with Shadow Ball, same for Azelf with Shadow Ball, and I can just be able to pick them off. I got my Stealth Rock on this mon because I couldn't fit it on Mamoswine, so I threw it on this mon because I could potentially lead with this thing and just click Shadow Ball or Stealth Rock, or if he leads with something weak to this thing, I can just click Shadow Punch or Earthquake or Ice Punch. Earthquake and Ice Punch or Ice Sickle Crash and Ice Shard really put in a lot of work, so I thought Mamoswine and Golurk was pretty cool brings. And then last but not least, we have a Dragon Dance and Gyarados, which you don't see in the match because the beginning of the match was about 20-30 turns of Gyarados versus Umbreon, where Gyarados was trying to Dragon Dance up, and Umbreon had the Foul Play, the Wish to Protect, and I had Bounce, so I clicked Bounce once, and it paralyzed Umbreon, which synchronized and paralyzed me, and it was just too much to recreate. So we're going to leave those two off and start the match as if the Umbreon and the Gyarados just died. Note that the Gyarados did die first, and then the Umbreon followed, dying to Mamoswine. That being said, we can hop into the replay here. And he's going to lead Delphox, and I'm going to lead Mamoswine. The reason he leads Delphox is because when I brought my Mamoswine in to revenge kill his Umbreon, I did have a sub up and then killed the Umbreon. So what he's going to do here is he's going to hard switch into Mimikyu, and this is going to work out just the way the match was going, as I can get up a sub and he brings in the Mimikyu with his disguise, and now I can break his disguise as he breaks my sub, and then this is right where the match was leaving off. So here I'm going to switch out, predicting him to attack me, but he actually goes for the Swords Dance, so pretty scary there. I'm just going to click Energy Ball here, see how much damage I can get off, and he actually reveals sub, so he actually loses 25% of his health, which really helps me actually, even though he does have the leftovers. It's a roll for him to do half damage like that, so I do live the next hit, but he actually goes for Swords Dance again. I'm not sure why, because like +3 Shadow Sneak doesn't kill Mamoswine, so he does end up killing me off here, but I could revenge kill with the Ice Shard, but I'm actually going to go into my Zapdos, and I'm just going to Volt Switch because I 100% live this since he doesn't have a boosting item, and I can go for the Volt Switch and knock him out. And now I think I bring in Victini so that I can U-turn out on anything that he wants to scare me out with. He actually goes into Empoleon, which is pretty interesting. I didn't want him to get rocks up before my Zapdos come in, so I'm going to hard switch into my Zapdos as he goes for Toxic. So that's a bit unfortunate. But I can just roost off whatever damage he wants to go for here. And he actually hard switches into Delphox. And now this is interesting. I want to point out something else too, is he brought this Delphox that is... spoiler alert, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the sets for his entire team. He brings a Choice Scarf Xurkitree, which is outsped by a Choice Scarf Victini, so I think that is like a really, really bad burning versus my team. Also outsped by a lot of other mons that I can choice scarf. So I don't really agree with that. And then he has the Empoleon, which is Flash Cannon, Scald, Toxic, Defog, and Leftovers, Max Spadef. So he has like no Sugar Berry or anything to try to take on my Mamoswine. He can't even 1v1 my Shaman. Not that, Gliscors can do that, or Empoleons can do that, but I just wanted to point that out. It also takes a heck of a lot from Zapdos if I was offensive. Takes a lot from Victini as well. Next up's going to be Delphox. Now this is where his sets just throw me off like fucking, I can't even explain. Here's the Calm Mind, Wish, Protect, and Psyshock. This thing is mono walled, or this thing is like mono psychic, so it's walled by my Scrafty. It can't do much to my Gardevoir. My Gardevoir can beat it 1v1 with Calm Minds and Psyshock of itself. And Umbreon was Foul Play, Toxic, Wish, Protect. So like it was set up fodder for Mega Gardevoir, set up fodder for Cobalion, set up fodder for Scrafty. Like a Calm Mind Cobalion just runs through this team as well. I guess it doesn't really matter since it doesn't really, I didn't bring those mons, so like he's fine, I guess. And then he brings the Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak, Play Rough substitute on Mimikyu, and then Azelf packs the Shadow Ball, Psyshock, Energy Ball, and Nasty Plot. Also walled by Scrafty, takes 0 damage from any of those mons. So if I brought Scrafty, like a Dragon Dance set or a Bulk Up set with the Fairy Berry, I forget which one that's called, I could just obliterate this team. Especially if I was sub Dragon Dance, Drain Punch knockoff or something like that. It would have been a nice set to bring actually, but he had a couple mons that strayed me away from doing that. And of course Azelf has the Ghostium Z for its Shadow Ball. So anyways, back to the match here. Has the Delphox in, and I didn't know it was mono psychic at this point, so I'm just going to Volt Switch out as he reveals Calm Mind. And now it got pretty scary here, as I'm going to go into Victini here and U-turn out, because he's just not in V-Create damage, V-Create range yet. U-turn out, go right back into Zapdos, see what he wants to do. And he goes for the Wish. So now I'm just like, whoa, okay, this thing it's going to be fat. It's going to be wish passing, or not passing, but wishing and continuing to set up. And now here it's going to, he's going to receive his wish as he goes for, or as I go out into Victini, and he's just going to pass up another wish as I finally set up my Trick Room here, and I'm going to hard switch into my Mamoswine. And he goes for the Psyshock, and it is a 2-hit KO from here, so I'm just going to throw off an Ice Shard, get a little bit of chip damage, and then I'm going to bring in my Golurk. And now things are getting better for me as I can click Shadow Punch here, and he actually reveals the Protect. So now he can protect or stall out a turn of my Trick Room. And here I'm going to click Earthquake, predicting him to go into Empoleon, as it would have been another turn wasted of Trick Room if he didn't. And I needed to be able to knock that thing out. And now here, he's shown Wish, Protect, Psyshock, and Calm Mind. So I know he doesn't have anything to hit me super effectively with. So I'm just going to set up my rocks as he goes for the Protect again to get a little bit of leftovers. And then he goes for the Psyshock as I go for the Earthquake. Now he brings out the Azelf. I'm not sure what this thing can have, but I'm going to go out into my Zapdos here. And this is where things get interesting here, is Zapdos eats the Energy Ball. That's neat. You need to know that. Zapdos eats Energy Ball. Eats Energy Ball. Eats the Psyshock. Volt switches out here, and I'm going to bring in my Victini here, because I can just click V-Create here, knock this thing out. in my right mind, I would V create here 100%, and then now I can sack something off here to the circuitry as he goes for the dazzling gleam. So he must be choice scarfed, as he had to lock himself into something, and then well, he is choice scarfed, and here I can just come back in, outspeed with my own V create here, and knock him out, and that's going to be game. So we will move on to the finals to take on the winner of Immortal Mints and Regulator. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, guys, so here we are with the original replay, where truth be told, we'll just hop into the replay here. I'm going to leave Victini as he leads Umbreon, because like I said in the first part of the video, this thing just can't, this thing literally has to be hacked out to die, because even though it's set up fodder for half of my roster, I didn't bring that half of my roster. So I'm just going to like try to speed through this, as we're just trying to kill each other here, and finally get the paralyze, or get the para there, and he's able to, as you can see, he can 2-hit KO me, so I need some paras on his side, but we're both getting paralyzed here. Throw up a substitute there just so I can get another Dragonette's off, so I can hit him a little bit harder, but he's actually going to be able to catch me on my para and hit me with the foul play. So unfortunate there, but nothing we can really do about that. And now here's where things get interesting. I got to be able to icicle crash this thing down, flinch him down or something. All I need is a couple flinches here, and I think at this range he's guaranteed earthquake range, but he gets his wish protect back and whatever. So I'm gonna set up a sub here, hoping he gets paralyzed or something, and then I'm just gonna bank on para flinches and stuff, and we're gonna get him back in range of earthquake, and we're gonna get a critical hit to knock him out. Now I don't know if that crit mattered, because I was adamant max attack, and it was, I think, a roll. But here he's going to break my sub, and the match is going to play out similarly to how the first part of the video went. And I'm going to switch out here and go into Shaman as he sets up a Swords Dance, and then he's going to set up a sub here, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. He may have predicted Leech Seed there, but I'm going to go for the Energy Ball. He's going to go for the Play Rough, do about half. Like I said, it was a roll, and he sets up another Swords Dance, so pretty interesting play there, as he could have maybe swept from this range, since he's at +3, but he needed rocks up, so he didn't bring rocks, so my Zapdos 100% lives, and I can Volt Switch out, kill him as I did earlier. I'm going to hard switch into my Zapdos again, so he can't get the rocks up, as I said in my the first part of the video there, and can just roost up here as he predicts. It doesn't really matter what he predicts, he just goes into Delphox here, which reveals to be a Calm Mindset, so pretty interesting here. I'm going to Volt Switch out, and he did reveal to be faster than my Zapdos, which was not that speedy, but it's still worth noting that he's faster than, you know, potentially other things on my team. Yeah, he does reveal Wish Protect again, as I said in the first match here, and I'm just going to have to Volt Switch out here, and finally just realize that Volt turn out here is not really going to hurt him, so I'm going to bring in my Victini here, and I'm going to realize that Trick Room has negative priority, so I'm Choice Scarf Trick Room, and realizing that it has negative priority I didn't even realize it during the match. I didn't realize it till the recreation match. But here he's going to reveal Protect, so I can't knock him out with the Shadow Punch. And again, I'm just going to click Earthquake here, since it will knock that thing out, and it will knock the Empoleon out, and break any potential Shuka Berries, as I didn't know it set. Get a crit, but the crit didn't matter. Max attack adamant, and here he's got the Protect, so I'm just going to go ahead and set up my Stealth Rocks here, and he's revealed his entire moveset, so I can just click Earthquake here, and he gets a critical hit Psyshock, which is kind of unfortunate, but not really too big of a deal, I don't think. So here he brings in his Azelf, and right here's why this Why I mentioned that Zapdos eats Energy Ball was because I'm gonna actually misclick here. I was putting my keyboard in my lap, and my wrist hit my mouse and kind of just clicked a random button. I don't even know if I might have even hit Earthquake. I don't even know. But yeah, I do misclick here, and it's gonna cost me my Azel, or he's gonna have Azel here at full HP, and that's unfortunate in the sense that I would still have my Golurk, and Zapdos would have ate that, and I could have Volt Switched out. Had the prior damage like I did, but here I'm going to play on tilt. Really messed up tilt here. It's unfortunate, but it's the game we play. Is a game like this where once you fall off balance, if you continue to play like that, if you don't regather yourself, you will lose. Here, I should 100% click V-Create, thinking about the end game where Xurkitree could sweep if I have lower speed, or if you switch out into the Xurkitree right now, the Azelf could come back in and outspeed me, and it could potentially have Shadow Ball, and could potentially be Never-Ending Nightmare since it can carry a Z Crystal, Z Crystal, and we saw that Delphox and Mimikyu didn't, so Azelf potentially could. So our play right here is to 100% click V-Create, because if he stays in, he dies. If he switches to Xurkitree, he dies. That being said, we're just going to go ahead and click U-turn, since we're playing on tilt and don't have our minds anywhere except up our ass. We don't have our, and we're going to hard switch, or we're going to end up going into Zapdos here. Now, I don't know if I live a timid Thunderbolt with Victini. I do have a little bit of Spadef investment, and I'm near max HP, but I don't know if I live a Thunderbolt. I probably do, but it was too big of a risk, and I would much rather not risk that and just go into my Victini here, click V-Create like I should have did it in the beginning, and taking this thing out. And now it all comes down to if he has the Never-Ending Nightmare. So here we are, and we're just going to click V-Create again. We are choice locked, and he does reveal to have the Never-Ending Nightmare. So that's going to be game. We choked our match away there. As you could see in the recreation, if we had our minds in the right spot, we could still win, with or without the misclick, because we could have V-Create the Azelf, which switched into the Xurkitree, hard switch into Zapdos, and then come back, sack whatever we had to do to get Victini back on the field, whether it be a slow Volt switch or losing Zapdos immediately, come back in with Scarf, Adamant V-Create, and knock Azelf out as well. But we played on tilt with our heads up our ass, and we're going to give the number 6 seed a position in the finals. So how's that for a Cinderella story? So actually, good luck to, so Greg plays Mince, and if Greg wins, I want the Cinderella story to continue. Nothing against Greg, I'm just saying because it's a Cinderella story. But if Mince wins, I want Mince to win it all, because I know him from somewhere, I can't figure it out, and because his season has been hexy as fuck. So that's going to be it. That's the actual replay here. We do lose 1-0 in a very tight match, which was ultimately determined by a misclick and then a choke on my part. So very unfortunate. But to be fair, I would have never been in the game if I hadn't have beat down that Umbreon. Took 1, 2, 3, 4 of my mons to beat down that Umbreon. Starting off with a U-turn from Victini, absorbing a Toxic, and then getting a natural cure with my Shaman. Coming in with the Gyarados, setting up, beating it to death, and paralyzing both of us. And then coming in with Mamoswine and getting the flinches, the paras, the crit, all that stuff. So to be fair, I would have never been in the match because I didn't prep accordingly for an Umbreon, because of the fact that it was set up fodder for so much of my mons that I did not think it would come. But yeah, congrats to Levine MA here. He's a lot of his sets were kind of, standard max, no speed creeping anything. Azelf was max speed, and it's really like, why is it max speed? Because like it didn't need to be. It could very well set at 330 speed and then have 120 EVs in bulk or something like that. Mimikyu, it could be max speed because, you know, maybe it would outspeed a Victini that was speed creeping something else. Empoleon and Xurkitree. Xurkitree's a fine set because if I didn't speed creep it with my Victini, it could just straight up sweep my team once my ground types are gone. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be the end of the UBC for me. We do finish 10-2, 10-3 with a 20+ differential. With a loss in the playoffs, a one and done, kind of like my Cowboys do every season. That being said, we'll cut it off there. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.